Hi everyone, I'm going to make this video quick and to the point. A lot of people who own APS-C cameras tend to ask me, what good value telephoto zoom lens should I buy? There are a lot of them on the market, but if you're on a fairly low budget, then there are two that I normally recommend to people. The Tamron 70-300mm f4-5.6 VC USD and the Canon EFS 55-250mm f4-5.6 IS STM. And I normally most recommend the Canon STM lens. I find it useful because its zoom range starts at 55mm, making it a bit more versatile for walking around and getting pictures. It's also a pretty sharp lens throughout its zoom range, while managing to be small and light and very well made, with smooth and silent autofocusing for video work and excellent image stabilization. And at a cost of only £150 or about $200 US, it's simply fantastic value for money. Another option that some people prefer is the Tamron 70-300mm f4-5.6 VC USD. It's an awful lot bigger than my preferred Canon lens and heavier, and its autofocus system is not as accurate, and its image stabilization not as smooth for video work. However, the Tamron lens has a few advantages to it. Firstly, it zooms in further to 300mm, and that could be useful for wildlife photography. And secondly, it's a full-frame camera lens. If you upgrade to a more expensive full-frame camera in the future, then this lens will still work fine, and also it'll show less vignetting when used on your current APS-C camera. It's also just as sharp as the Canon lens. It does cost more than the Canon lens though, being about £200 or $300 US. It's a good lens, but as I said before, I think the Canon lens is preferable. I also think that the Tamron lens is a little bit better than Canon's 70-300mm lens. The Tamron seems to be slightly sharper and it has better features and build quality. If you're on an ultra low budget, then I'd recommend the original Canon 55-250mm lens. This is the non-STM version, and it can be found quite cheaply, often for about £100 or even less. Its build quality and its optics are definitely not as good as the new STM version of the lens. However, it's still an alright piece of kit with a good zoom range and good enough sharpness. It'll get the job done for you. If you're shooting a lot of sports, then you'll probably want to splash out a little more money for a telephoto lens with a wider aperture, such as f4 or f2.8. They'll let in more light to your camera and give you faster shutter speeds. The Canon 70-200mm f4 USM L is particularly good value for money, a lovely lens. And the Sigma 70-200mm f2.8 OS HSM is also a very good value for money lens, although both lenses are definitely more expensive than the low budget ones I've just been talking about. There are plenty of other good telephoto zoom lenses out there, and some bad ones too. Check out my YouTube channel or the rest of the internet for more detailed tests. Think about what you need from your telephoto lens, check out some reviews, and I'm sure you'll make the right choice.